Coca-Cola announced today it will release a version of its signature drink sweetened with American cane sugar. The announcement follows President Trump's post on social media last week that he'd been talking to Coke about using real cane sugar from the U.S. in its U.S. sodas.
And since the 1980s, Coke has sweetened its drink with high fructose corn syrup in the U.S. In Mexico and other international markets, the company uses cane sugar. So-called Mexican Coke can be found in grocery stores around Colorado, and it is wildly popular.
Oh, it's so good. I do love Mexican Coke. We had to bring in 9 News medical expert Dr. Payal Kohli, though, to talk about this change because, in theory, isn't it all sugar? What is the difference between cane sugar, high fructose corn syrup?
Sugar is sugar, ladies.
Right.
You're absolutely right about that. And instead of talking about changing the type of sugar, we should be changing the amount of sugar. But there are some subtle differences between high fructose corn syrup and cane sugar. So high fructose corn syrup is derived from cornstarch. It's highly processed, and it has a little more fructose than glucose. Those are the two types of sugars, more fructose, a little less glucose. On the other hand, cane sugar is derived from sugar canes. That's kind of the table sugar that we have on our tables, less processed, in a crystalline form, not liquid like the high fructose corn syrup, and that has about similar fructose and glucose ratio. So one is a little more processed, one less, but if you think about how our body metabolizes them, it's very similar.
So if our body metabolizes the two of them similarly, is there anything else that one could be more damaging to our body than the other? Is there any upside here when it comes to how our body processes it?
So if you listen to RFK Jr., he says that obesity and diabetes are a result of high fructose corn syrup. But what he's forgetting is that, yes, that's partially true. The cane sugar is very, 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 very slightly more healthy than the high fructose corn syrup. But depending on how it's made, it could be very similar. So let me talk you through how it's broken down. So glucose is glucose, right? And they both have glucose. Gets into our intestine, triggers insulin release, makes us gain weight, makes us put on fat, not good for us, creates insulin resistance and diabetes. Fructose, on the other hand, goes straight to our liver, especially if we drink a can of Coke on an empty stomach. It's almost like a shock to the liver.
No.
And the liver metabolizes it by turning it into fat. So we start putting fat down on our liver and on our other organs. The other thing about fructose is it doesn't make us feel full like sugar does. So the fact that high fructose corn syrup has a little more fructose, about 5% more than cane sugar, is one of the reasons that this controversy has emerged.
So, small little, but can we surmise here that maybe it is if I just have to grab a Coke, I'm looking for a sugar rush, want to shock my liver, I should just go for the one with the cane sugar versus the one we've been drinking?
No.
Oh.
And my worry is that by putting cane sugar in Coke, A, we're making it more expensive to manufacture. B, we're giving the perception, just like you said, Alex, that it's a little more healthy for us, which leads to overconsumption. So if you think about what the American Heart Association tells us should be the daily amount of sugar that we take in, 25 grams. And how much does a can of Coke have?
Oh my God, 150 or something?
39. 39 grams.
So almost double than what our daily
entire
amount
daily
of sugar
amount
should
be. So you think about whether it's cane sugar or high fructose corn sugar, it's going to lead to diabetes, metabolic syndrome, weight gain, obesity, cancer, inflammation, hormonal disruptions. This is why most of America is heading towards obesity. In the next 5 years, more than half the country is going to be obese because of all this excess calories and sugar that we're getting.
I believe that.
So to me, it's actually just whether you're eating from your right hand or eating from your left hand, it's metabolized in exactly the same way. And I worry that we're spending a lot of time on the wrong message. The message needs to be less sugar, no sugar, rather than, this type of sugar. Now, some people reach for artificial sweeteners. So I know the president is a fan of Diet Coke.
Oh, I love a good Diet Coke. I had one for lunch.
I saw you drinking it.
So let me
I was
say
like,
this.
Please don't let Dr. Kohli see you.
But is that better than going for a regular Coke?
Yes.
Thank you, Dr.
So if you're going to choose between regular Coke, high fructose, or cane sugar, Diet better because it has less sugar. But having said that, large volumes of artificial sweetener, we've realized, may not be as good as we thought it was. So it may actually cause more cravings for sugar. That artificial sweetener triggers a different kind of circuit in your brain, increase risk for inflammation, blood vessel damage, disrupt your hormones. So we really now need to not only track our sugar intake, but our artificial sweetener intake as well, because a lot of us think, oh, iced tea, you put some Splenda in it. Oh, you have a Diet Coke, and you're going sugar-free. But actually, you're just changing one evil for the other. The nice thing about sugar cravings, though, ladies, it's highly adaptable. So if you can train your brain to stop feeding that sugar circuit and interrupt it for a couple of weeks, you can actually recondition your mind. It's almost gaslighting your brain to not have that same kind of high coming out of sugar. So I challenge you to do that. The next time you have a sugar craving, get a bowl of yogurt, put some fruit in it, get some carrot sticks.
Carrot sticks?
Yeah.
I like the bowl of yogurt with fruit. I could do that, or frozen grapes. Would that work?
Frozen grapes works great. And you can put some pumpkin seeds on it, sunflower seeds for a little crunch. Try that to actually trick your brain into eating different types of sugar and getting that same kind of endorphin release dopamine high that we get from this highly processed sugar. But we have to teach our kids, our teenagers, everybody to start looking at sugar content, because cane sugar, high fructose corn sugar, it's still poison for your arteries, your heart, and your brain.
Really? Like, be the example. I told myself coming back from vacation, I was like, I'm not going to the candy drawer. I'm going to try to do it at work. I go in our news director's office. Linda, she's the best candy. Like little gummy bears. I would sneak the gummy bears. No more.
You know more?
No more.
Oh, no.
So you should tell Linda to start putting trail mix.
No.
Yes.
I can't ruin it for other people now.
We can't be the bad guys.
I'll tell her.
Well, Dr. Kohli, thank you as always. Really important information.